Welcome to the first webinar from the Modern Firm. This is a new series that we're starting that we hope will continue on forever, and we're very excited to have Clio be part of this first one. The reason we are launching this series is a couple years ago, we added a tagline to our company about helping attorneys build their dream practice. And when we started that, and we're really thinking about that tagline, it was mostly at the beginning, the things that we do, marketing, website design, branding. But we are increasingly finding that we are at the center of conversations with our clients. Where they're making big decisions and moves with their business. And so they're thinking about more than just the marketing side of things. There's all sorts of things about staffing, people, finances, IT. And these are questions that we're often fielding, and we can frequently answer them, but there are tons of experts and great companies out there that can help our clients with all of these other aspects of running your practice. And so that's what we're trying to do with the webinars, a podcast that we have coming out later this month, and resources that we're going to be publishing on our website. And so we'll be sort of touching on all of these other things, and of course, marketing as well, that go into what it means to build your own dream practice and all that entails. As it relates to the topics we're covering today, I've been involved in legal tech and marketing now for over 25 years, and I've seen a lot. Callback notes on napkins, invoices being made in Microsoft Word, tracking cases in like a convoluted Excel spreadsheet, and sticky notes like all over the office. But what we see consistently, especially with the clients that we're working with on marketing, is that when they have a system like Clio, they are more organized, they reach their business goals faster, and they are in a better position to make decisions based off of data and not just their gut. And so that's why I'm so excited to have Jazz and Clio as part of this webinar today, to talk about the experience and how a system like Clio can add so much to how, to the efficiency of how your practice runs. So as I said, we'll have some polls coming out. There is going to be a Q&A at the bottom that you can submit any questions along the way, and we'll consolidate and get to those. But what Jazz is going to be covering is first, we're going to look at their annual statistics report that they do on small law firms and sort of law firms in general, and especially diving into AI and what's going on there. So we'll be looking at some stats and trends there, and then diving into the main topic from first click on your website all the way through, invoice with your client, and how you can create this sort of seamless journey where you're keeping everything organized, entering data just one time, and keeping on track of all the to-dos and things that go into successfully satisfying the needs of a client. So with that, Jess, I'll let you take it away.
Awesome. Thank you for that introduction there, Brendan. And as we're getting started, I'm going to start sharing my screen now. Yeah, looks like Brendan, you might be able to maybe share the screen there from your end.
Okay, just a second here. Thanks for,
Oh,
there we
looks
go.
like it worked out perfect. So
Thanks for bearing with us. We're learning a lot of new buttons with this software. So.
awesome. Well, nice to meet you, everyone. And I just wanted to start by saying that every year, Clio analyzes aggregated data from tens of thousands of legal professionals to see what's actually happening in their practices. I wanted to start the webinar by diving into some of the key information we found in this year's report. I'm going to cover some of the key insights facing small and solo law firms and how technology can play a role in shaping their firms. Now we're going to launch a poll, and that should be coming up now. And in recent years, team, what we found is that AI has quickly become a key player in modern law firms. We know AI will shape the future of legal. In fact, when we last explored AI in our latest legal trends report, We found that nearly 4 in 5 law firms were using AI in some capacity in their practices. So I wanted to take you through 3 surprising statistics from our legal trends report, which is how it's impacting small law firms that leverage AI technology as well. Now, moving on, looking at small law firms, a higher proportion of solo and small firms report adopting AI in a minimal capacity. They're much more likely than larger law firms to adopt AI in a more involved capacity and are more likely to have not adopted AI at all. Brendan, have you seen firms adopt AI here?
Yeah, so what we're seeing, and this is, I guess, sort of showing up pretty in real time here in the poll, is uh, we're generally seeing sort of either no adoption at all or just getting off the starting line with some basics, evaluating writing, doing some research. But we're definitely seeing like a lot of fear around like what tools are safe to use, is data safe? Um, and so we're seeing that the majority of our clients are sort of just getting off the starting line with it. And then a few have really gone like deep and have started making some apps and doing some really, interesting things. But yeah, by and large, it's trending with what the report shows here.
Awesome. And among solo and small firms that have used AI, the most popular tools include generic non-legal AI tools, for example, ChatGPT, legal research platforms, virtual receptionists, document drafting or automation tools, and as well as e-discovery solutions. Looking at the data, we see that 57% of lawyers have used a generic AI tool, and 54% of them have used a legal research tool in some capacity. Brendan, I'm curious, like, have you been seeing this come up a lot for your firms as well?
Yeah, and again, I think it's yes, the use of generic tools definitely is happening, and but I think the shift we started to see, and this has a lot having to do with Clio and some of the moves that you guys have been making in the market, is that it, since last summer, it seems like it's gotten more legit. Tools have gotten more fine-tuned. The hallucinations and the errors are happen. They still happen. Of course, you have to double check things, but it's being sort of less egregious. Um, but enough time has happened now to where some really like powerful, focused tools on the legal market are coming out and really, adding a lot and being very compelling in a way that the more generic tools have not been. So, uh, yeah, that's what we're seeing.
Awesome. And for the most part, most firms of all sizes are aligned on the perceived benefits of leveraging AI tools. However, solo and small firms are much more likely than larger firms to believe that AI can help them save time and increase efficiency. When it comes to AI usage, it's not a matter of replacing the work you do. It helps to augment the work you do and allows you to focus on providing a modern client experience and free up time to serve more clients. And Brendan, I'm curious, like, where are you seeing the benefits for smaller law firms specifically here?
Yeah, no, this is really where firms are, especially small firms, where they're wearing so many hats, with just like actually being the lawyer for their clients, but also being the salesperson, the marketing person, the admin person, the janitor, just all the different things that go into just a day in the life of a small firm attorney. And yeah, the AI is being incredibly helpful at some of those just more routine, mundane things, whether it's just a quick summary of something, helping, draft or get some ideas down for an email, especially you get those really dense emails or a bunch of documents all at once, being able to consolidate and summarize, really having some good, time saving there just to offload some of that, mental bandwidth that goes into the, switching tasks and all the different things that happen in a day.
Awesome. Now, everyone, we're on our second poll. So we're going to launch a poll just to see what everyone's thinking about in terms of, what is your firm's primary promotional channel there? And as we wait for the results to trickle in for the poll, everyone, I'm also going to go ahead and cover some stats on how small law firms attract law firm clients, as this is super critical for your law firm's growth as well. Let's see, Brendan, have we got the results coming
Yeah,
in
we've
there?
got the polls. We've got 63% saying referrals, 11% respectively for firm website and online reviews and search optimization, 5% at paid ads, nothing for social media.
Interesting. Wow. So that's really interesting because the top channels used to market services among solo and small law firms actually are referrals. They are the company websites, the online reviews your clients are leaving for you on Google, social media, as well as internet search or SEO optimization consultants. Now, moving on, um, though many solos may lack the resources to promote their services across a variety of channels, they aren't necessarily missing out on opportunities to grow their businesses. Firms of all sizes agree that referrals are their top source of leads. So the question becomes, how do you make sure you're creating an incredible client experience throughout the entire life cycle to make sure clients leave positive reviews and experiences? Today, I'm going to walk through technology which can help you and your firm create amazing client experiences from intake to getting paid on your final invoices and everything in between.
Yep, I'd say this is interesting. This slide right here that you're showing is pretty much exactly tracking with what our poll said.
Nice. And as we keep going next, we're going to go ahead and look at some other things. So, for example, um, sorry, having a little bit of a technical snag. As we keep going, you'll notice that in terms of the systems that we have out there, most legal practice management solutions operate as a system of record. They store your cases, documents, communications, time entries, medical records, tasks, just to name a few items. But the burden is still on you to figure out what to do next.
Yeah,
I'm
and
going
Jez, I
to,
want to just interject. I think
yeah,
if you can go back 2 slides, I think that was where they had the technical hiccup. Just to acknowledge
yeah,
the poll. There we go. Yeah, on AI search. Yeah, and this I just wanted to, we were just touching on before we get into the sort of the Clio demonstration. Yeah, we did a quick poll here and our firm showing up in AI. And yeah, on our poll results here, we have 83% say no, they don't know if they're being recommended. And uh, 17% say yes, they do know if they're being recommended or not. And this is where, right, this is sort of new information since the LTR report came out in the fall, where AI has taken on such a role in uh, interjecting itself into search and when people are looking for online reviews and vetting the referrals that happen. Now it's so easy to ask and sort of have the system be giving an opinion about your firm, even if it's been recommended by somebody that you personally know or a former client. And so that's sort of a new aspect beyond just the website, social, um, online reviews, and ads is now this whole AI element where it is, really prominently inserting itself into that process.
absolutely. And then I guess going back just to piggyback off your point, like most legal practice management solutions, again, just operate as a system of record where they store everything. But the burden really comes down to you to figure out what to do next. So today we're actually going to walk you through how you can use a system of action. Instead of just holding information, Clio helps you take the next step with AI so that the work keeps on moving. Here's what that system of action looks like in practice. Four AI-powered products designed to solve a critical gap. Clio Grow brings in new clients. It helps you streamline intake, lead qualification, scheduling, as well as marketing. Clio Manage runs your firm. It's your firm's operating system. It's your hub and single source of truth for every matter, bill, document, calendar event, as well as reports. Clio Work accelerates the substance of your legal work. It's an AI-powered workspace where research, analysis, arguments, and strategy are built, and then Clio Draft scales your documents output, standardizing your Word templates and auto-populating them with client matter data for accuracy as well as for ready-to-use drafts on the go quickly as well.
Yeah, and I'll add to it, you're going to get to a lot of like really exciting things here, but this is where the handoff often happens between a company like ours that is working with the website and search optimization, advertising, social, now AI, to get the client to contact the firm. And then it's what happens then, and that's the when it sort of moves out of being something that's within our control and then onto the firm and it's on your plate to handle. And that's where it's so exciting to, it's sort of you're going to start, I think, with Clio Grow, but that's where a smooth handoff there really helps accelerate the return on marketing efforts.
Absolutely. And each of these products is strong alone. The advantage is how they kind of work together. Client intake and grow flows into manage once a lead is converted into a client and once they've signed your retainer or fee agreement. Manage continuously syncs matter context, documents, notes, deadlines, communications directly with work so its AI can provide insights, answers, analysis, and actions all grounded in real case facts and context of the matter. Draft pulls from manage and work to auto-populate templates, form sets, and first drafts. And all of these outputs flow back into manage, keeping it again as the single source of truth for reporting, documents, and collaboration for your team. This isn't just convenience. It's Clio uniquely connecting the business of law with the practice of law. Grow and manage keep your firm running and revenue flowing. Work and draft power your best outputs and strategy. Now, let's jump into this and what it looks like in practice. So now I'll be going ahead and showcasing all the products that we have. Now, Clio Grow is where intake happens. So this is where we have a pipeline to see exactly what's happening with different leads that came into our newly added stack. Again, this pipeline view is totally customizable. We do offer training and onboarding to help you set this up so it can reflect exactly your firm's workflows. But again, you can move people along as they progress. Anyone who fills out the contact us form or sends you a message from your website, they're landing in this newly added stack so that you can start your day by knowing exactly which people need to be reached out to and where the other leads fall in this cycle as well.
Yeah, and this is sort of right. This right here is capturing the moment where, yes, the client fills out the form on your website, and boom, with our integration with Clio, it's instantly here. No data has to be entered, just goes right in, and then right, you build these workflows out. There's nothing to remember about. Oh, who do I call next? Who have I already talked to? It really helps to streamline that whole sort of process of getting them from being a lead into a client.
Absolutely. And one of the best things here is that you can take actions directly from this this Kanban board view, pipeline view we have. So for example, if Tom is a good lead that we want to accept, we can mark him as hired, or we could mark Johnny here, who just came in with the litigation real estate case that we don't handle. We can even mark this as rejected, conflict issue, or cost concerns, or hired another attorney, depending on what happened. All of this is getting tracked so that you and your team can go see what's happening with the leads coming in, what's converting. And I personally love the not hired list here just to see exactly which people didn't sign up with the firm and why. This can be very useful for two big reasons. One, if let's say one of these people was to come back to the firm a few months or weeks down the road, you know exactly what you spoke about. But second, you could also go ahead and send email campaigns as well as drip campaigns to this list of folks with some blog articles and things that you would like them to know about as well. Now, as we're going through, I know most of the leads will come in from the website, but for those one-off situations where maybe, the phone rings and now you answer it and you start talking to someone about a case, this is a quick intake form where you can start inputting information about the person you're talking to. And you'll notice conflict checks are happening here in real time, where we can see exactly, okay, is this person a conflict? Do they already exist in our system? And as we're going through it, it'll always flag any similar first or last names or keywords it's picking up. So for all the firms today here from practicing family law, you can go ahead and do your conflict checks right away. In this situation, I'm just going to say this is a personal injury case, which is a slip and fall. And this part at the very end, team, is very important because I know most of your business today is coming from the website, referrals. So you can even attribute these leads to those sources. And if it's a referral, we can tag the name of the person who sent them over to us so that there's a report running in the background telling you who are your firm's biggest champions with conversion rates and things as well. Now, from here, you can go ahead and do a lot of actions. Like, for example, we can create standardized checklists or automated workflows for all the different situations or practice areas you focus on. So, as an example, this general intake checklist just has 5 steps to keep you on top of your process and making sure nothing slips through the cracks. And even if you hire someone new at the firm, it takes away the guesswork from their day. They're just following very standardized processes, and in this process, they're also providing a very consistent and modern client experience to your clients as well. Now, there's a scheduling tool where you can schedule meetings with them directly, send them the booking link with reminders so that they never forget the meetings coming up. You can send intake forms, you can send retainer agreements, which are again all part of the system. And again, keeping the standardized process the same, there are email templates for different situations we'll be going through today. Maybe it's for a form, a payment link, a bill, or even just a document for e-signature. You can have templates that are standardized and ready to go with the right messaging for your clients as well. But I think some of the more important things are going to be here on the left. So in the reports tab, we have a report called referral report, which is again showing you those champions for the firm. So as an example here, I have John Reese, who's sent 7 cases and 3 of them have converted. One of them is still an intake. Or maybe I have this client, John West, who sent me $10,000 worth of business already that's converted. So it's giving you more visibility into your champions. And the second big report would be the matters added over time. This would show you exactly how many matters have been added over a specific period of time, what are the sources where they're coming from, what value has been generated, as well as the big question. What's our real conversion rate on all these conversations we're having with these leads? And if you go in by matter type, you'll also notice that maybe you notice a big spike in bankruptcy cases at the end of the year, or maybe you notice a big spike in real estate cases at the middle of the year. So it'll give you a lot of these insights as you go through the system as well.
Yeah, and these reports are fantastic, for getting back to like our marketing efforts because again, it's really common for there to be seasonality to a number of practice areas, and then that might shift how we want to allocate budgets or just being aware of it to know like, oh, this is going to be a slow time, but it's going to pick back up. And then also, again, like I said earlier, making decisions based off of data. It lets you see, yeah, where it's coming from. And like, boy, if you're getting a good return on investment off of a campaign promoting family law or estate planning, might be worth, making decisions on budget there to reallocate things or put more towards it if it's really having a good payoff. So it's great to have this data and get it reporting back.
Absolutely, Brendan. I agree with you because the data is so amazing. It tells you exactly which sources are converting better. And with this data, if you find one source isn't working out, you can always change your strategy as you go. Now, on the Clio Grow side, we've talked about how, everything was going to be consistent. All the forms and documents you're sending through intake will have your logos and letterheads for, again, the great experience we're hoping to give our clients. But from here, once they've signed that engagement letter or that retainer agreement or fee agreement for you, what you would do next is manually click Convert to Clio Manage. And the reason for this is because we want to ensure that anyone who's a lead but hasn't signed up with our firm yet only stays in Clio Grow. But once they've signed up and they're ready to get started, we're going to go ahead and move them into Clio Manage, where we would start doing more actions on the case management side. Now, going into the platform on this side, again, you can shift between Clio, Grow, Manage, Work, Accounting, Draft, all the different modules you have through this drop-down menu, which shows up on every screen so that you can easily toggle between the modules there. And these tabs on the left are your main firm-wide tabs. So if you go into the dashboard, you'll see a quick agenda for your day, which looks very different for different members of the team. It'll have billing and hourly metrics for you if that's how you're billing. It also has a firm dashboard that's showing you information about utilization, realization, as well as a collections report to show how we're doing on the receiving front for the money as well. But going into the Matters tab again, we do have a Kanban board style view on this side as well, so that you can see exactly what's happening with active cases. Again, taking away that guesswork for your team and showing you exactly where different cases are and in what stages. And we can do this for all the different practice areas you might be focused on as well. Now, going into a specific matter, what I'm going to do is we're going to go into this matter, which is a car accident. And again, all these tabs on the top that are in white, they are locally related to this T-bone case. So if I was to go into notes, I would see all of those here. All the documents would live here for this case as well. Again, Clio does have unlimited document storage, so you can go ahead and save as much content as you need, may it be videos, audio files, or documents or forms as well. And then back in the dashboard, you have information about the contact, any related contacts. Maybe there's a judge involved. Maybe there's an opposing counsel, opposing party, co-counsel. Maybe there was a doctor and a physiotherapist who was involved in this case. Anyone who's related, I've added them as a related contact. And then you do have a timeline of events, which is your audit trail. So anytime you or any of your teammates go in to track time, send a document for e-signature or just upload or just create a new event or task, it is tracking your movements and activities in the system here as well. Now, going over before we go into things like billing and timekeeping, I know documents is something every legal professional has to work on in their daily workflows. So Clio does have this ability where you can create documents from a template where it has merge fields. So the first name, last name, basic information that already exists in Clio would move into these templates. But we also see in our day-to-day conversations that a lot of legal professionals don't just have to draft one document. It's typically a bunch of different documents in a set that they might have to work on. So we do have Clio Draft to help with exactly that, where we can create different document sets for different practice areas. And as an example for today, I'll be showing you the real estate document set. And just so you know what this is, it's just Word templates with these things in yellow, which are merge fields. All of this information already exists in Clio Manage. So all we're doing is we're basically drafting these 7 documents in one set and having all this information flow into them in real time. You can decide how you want these to look like and which sequence should they be drafted in. But once you're ready, you would just give this a quick name. And then the one big thing you would need to do is tag the name of the matter you'd like to use to draft these documents. I used my real estate matter with Larry David. And what's happening as we speak is basically it's merging all the fields into this document set. So you'll notice on the left, we orient around cards and fields. Everything in green means we're good. Everything has been filled out. But as an example, if I was to remove just the name of the attorney, you would see a 1 with a red color on the left here. This is basically just telling you that, hey, we're missing a field and we need to enter this. But on top of doing this fast, one of the big things to highlight here is that this also takes away any spelling mistakes or errors that could occur if we were copy pasting things or typing them out. Instead, in just a few seconds, we've gone ahead and now we've drafted 7 different documents in a template. Now, depending on the situation, you could either download these, save these back to Clio to say track some time on them if you're billing for this as well. or you could send this for e-signature. But just like that, we have 7 documents that have all been drafted quickly, and these are Word templates that you can use and reuse in Clio here as well.
Yeah, and one of the things, I mean, there's multiple parts of Clio that sort of strike this reaction from me, but especially draft is that um, one of the challenges I think so many of our clients face as they start to scale, especially as they're going from just themselves to hiring their first employees or bringing on their first attorneys, is that struggle of like, well, are they going to keep doing things my way? The way that has worked and made me successful to this point. And that's where systems like this are so helpful because it lets you get your way into a system that is going to be followed by all, and gives you that assurance that it's something you can train your people on, and then it just gives a pretty lockstep process for making sure that things are being done in the consistent and high quality way that has gotten your practice to that point of now needing to transfer those skills and knowledge to other people.
Absolutely. I agree with that, Brendan, because standardization is definitely great to keep everybody on the same page as well as from the client experience side of things. And on top of this, not only can it do Word documents, but we do have all the court forms for all the different states you work in, as well as for anyone who does immigration law, we have the USCIS court forms as well. But these are court forms that we're pulling directly in PDF format from the court websites, which again, same idea. You can select as many as you need in a set and then draft these all together. And these court forms are all updated as well. Finally, there is a questionnaires feature as well. You can use that to like build questionnaires. And the biggest thing about this tool is that if you already have Word templates that you're using today with merge fields, it's actually very easy to get started here in Clio Draft, where you can start uploading them, and our AI tool will create them into reusable templates for you as well.
Yep. And Jazz, I want to pause here for a related question to draft. It was in the Q&A there. Can you tailor Clio to only provide templates for your practice areas, or does the price change as you add more templates or documents like that?
Oh, so the basically to answer your question, the Word templates, there's no change. Like we have firms where we work with only family law, but we also work with general practice firms where they have like 10 different practice areas. So there's no limit to the Word templates side of things, no extra charges. The only extra charges you might come across in Clio Draft is, let's say if you work in Michigan, but you're doing practicing law in Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, and in Missouri. At that point, you might just have to pay an add-on to access the court form libraries that we provide here. But just for the Word templates, no limit and no extra charges there.
Great.
Yeah.
And are you going to, the court forms is also an incredibly neat feature. Is he going to touch on that later, or is that?
Oh yeah, so the court forms, honestly, like this very simple idea, like we're just going through these court forms and validating which ones we need. But as we're going through, you can again click draft on a set for demo purposes. And then what's going to happen in this case is since these are one-off forms, it wouldn't populate all the information right away. So it would involve some work on the team side to basically just, type some things in or ensure everything's filled out before we move on to the drafting side. But what's happening is you might notice on the left, a lot of things are still missing. So we can go in and see, okay, exactly what's left. We'll just go ahead and add a state bar number, and now it'll say green. And you can do this the same thing for all the different fields that you're looking at. But this is just something you're typing as you're going through. And then once you generate the documents, again, same idea. It's pulling all the fields into the PDF templates. And if you do miss something, maybe there's a checkbox you need to select, or maybe there's like a name you need to type out quickly, or something that was missed, you can quickly type into these, or even go back to that same page and add these things from here as well. So again, just giving you the ability to go through PDF court forms quickly here. Now, shifting gears, I would love to focus a bit more on Clio Work and its AI capabilities and workflows. So going from here, we'll click into Clio Work, which is our AI-powered legal research platform, as well as an AI module that has a lot of workflows that are built and designed to keep you going and be very efficient with your work. Some of these workflows would be, again, they're all segmented by transactional or litigation, but it could be that you need to analyze a contract. Maybe you need to compare two documents, do redlining. Some firms that are doing heavy depositions or have lots of body cam footage can come here and basically upload those videos or depositions. And this system can transcribe the whole content for you in text, analyze it, and then you can have text conversations with it to gather very specific pieces of information. So I always like to explain AI as something that's not really replacing anyone. Instead, it's getting you to maybe 80% of the finished work. And now the human element comes in to validate the rest of the product and make changes as needed. Again, when you're doing legal research as well, you can select any of the specific jurisdictions to do that as you're going through. And the one big difference with Clio and the other AI tools out there right now is that we have the context of the matter. So I can actually go in and select a specific matter, tell it like, hey, add those documents from that matter and only analyze those or something like that from here. But just to go through some examples, I had a few that I already went through because it does take a couple minutes to go through them in real time. Like, for example, I have one example here called document review with Vincent Tables, where I can go in and tell it, like, hey, actually, I'm trying to do an NDA review. And then I can upload a document and it can transcribe and do that for us. Maybe one of the more simpler things is summarizing documents. So I actually uploaded a document from one of the files where it went through the PDF, did an OCR search, and you'll notice that it says these numbers on this side as well, like P2, P8. So it's not only making these things up, it's actually going through the documents and giving its source and its work for where it's picking this information up from. And then at the end, it asked me, hey, what else would you like to do? So I said, hey, help me with reviewing completeness, reliance standards, and it made a whole table for me to help me with that task as well.
Yeah. And Jez, can you touch on two things with the AI? One is where's the data coming from? How is Clio getting, what's it trained on?
Absolutely. So it's a common question we get. So typically, the things it's using is basically your firm's information. So the data you've entered, like the names, the documents, and just so you know, Clio's system is a closed loop AI environment. So it's not sharing any of your data or documents with any of the other Clio users or using it to train the future of AI. It's basically just a tool built on top of your Clio Manage as well as Fastcase, which is our legal library for legal research. And it's giving us these insights. And the system has also been built with a citation rule. So you'll notice everywhere we go, it has these things in blue. So hallucinations is something we also want to avoid. So the citation helps us go into a specific case, right click into it to see and do keyword searches within it to see what's happening as well on the other side. So that's another thing it's going to pull information from. But as we're going through, it's only using the information you've entered. And again, there's always an exceptions and caveats as well to ensure that the answers you're getting don't always just sound very overexcited, just like most AI tools today sound like.
Mhm. And you mentioned Fastcase. Is that also, how does that relate to VLEX and the acquisition there?
Absolutely. So Fastcase, and I'm sure some of the people in the audience might have heard of Fastcase before. It used to be available through the Bar Association memberships, but basically what we did is that VLEX or Fastcase is the global legal library for case law and statutes, and we built Vincent on top of this tool. So essentially, on top of using your matters awareness and context, it's using this case law library to flag these things for you as well. Yeah. And again, this is a research question that was actually asked by one of your colleagues recently, where they said real estate agent orchestrates deal between buyer and seller. Seller doesn't cooperate. Agent sends termination of listing, a document that the seller never signs. Agent terminates the listing and stops marketing the property. Seller still closes the deal with the exact same buyer with the same terms. Is the agent entitled to the commission? Now, this was a legal research question I asked in relation to very specifically Ohio state law. And now it's gone ahead, again, pulling information from Fast Case as well to give you all the background and relevant law. And on the right, you can actually click into these cases and see which cases are most relevantly related to this. So there's one with 93% relevance. There's another one with another 93% relevance. So you can go through these cases to find your content. And again, you can have conversations with this analysis as well in case you're looking for very specific information from this research as well.
Sure. And how would you say, like, so this is putting you guys pretty direct competition with like the big players, Lexis and Westlaw for their research.
Mhm.
How does the database from Clio and the VLEX compare to that?
Very good question. I think the biggest differences, one would be in terms of just the legal libraries that we looked into for VLEX or Fastcase, very comparable because the case laws are basically the same. They're updated in real time, and we also have our own shepherdizing system called CERT that does validations in the background. But I think the one big two more big differences are one, we have the context of the matter. Typically in Westlawn and Lexus, you would have to have a second screen open, do your research there, move it into Clio. Versus here, I can do all the work, save it back to Clio and track time on it all from one system. And the second, last final thing I'll say, Brendan, is the fact that those tools have AI built on top of their legal research. So all they're really doing is just legal research versus in Clio work. A lot of firms using this tool don't actually use this only for research. They'll come in here, like for example, yesterday we uploaded a huge dash cam footage from a case to transcribe it, or helping you build an argument or doing some of the other actions like analyzing pleadings. So those would be the big highlights there.
Great, thanks.
Yeah. Now, to tie it all back into one, we go back and again, there's some examples for redlining as well as creating timelines. So I even uploaded some documents like medical records to find medical chronologies and things. This one does take a few minutes because it's a very big set of documents in there. But going back into Clio Manage now, we've looked into all of those things we can do with drafting, AI. We've looked into intake. This is a place where you can track your medical records, your tasks. You can assign one-off tasks, or you can create task lists that are standardized and keep everyone in the process, as well as your calendar. And then at the end of all this, it's time to send invoices and get paid. So Clio does have basically we have something called bulk billing, where you can come in and see exactly all the different bills in different situations. We even have an outstanding balances tab to see exactly who hasn't paid you. And you can even turn on these toggle reminders to send them periodic emails with your messaging, as well as with payment links, because Clio can accept payments through credit, debit, and ACH as well. But to keep it very simple, since the bulk billing feature is somewhat, something you grow into as you start learning the system, the easiest way to send a bill, and I'll just switch into an hourly case for this, would be just to click quick bill here under work in progress. You can also click add time to track time here quickly, where you could enter your description and your durations. We even have activity categories to keep you very standardized with your descriptions on what the clients see on the bills as well, finally. Same thing for expenses. Again, you can upload these directly into the system, or you can even go ahead and basically add these from the mobile app. Since Clio has a mobile app, you can use on the go. And then just like that, once you're ready, you can just go ahead and click quick bill here under work in progress. It would show you all the work you've put in so far with the dates, activities, and things. So you can always add more information here if needed. But if you're ready, all you would do is click generate bill at the bottom left in blue. Now, this is where we come back to providing the clients with that consistent and modern client experience, which keeps them engaged with us as well. So you'll notice on the left, we have this drop down from where you can select which bill template or theme you would like to choose. I only have four, but I've worked with firms where they have 20, 30. There's actually no limit to how much customization you can do for your branding as well. And what you'll notice is that on the right, it already has the right logo, the letterhead in the right space, exactly where it needs to be so that the client knows what's happening. Now, these templates have a lot of information. So again, you can click edit to make changes in real time. A lot of firms will sometimes add like a tax or a discount to a specific line item. you can do that and show it to your clients as well. So as an example, if I had a 10% discount, it'll show it on the invoice so your client can see that, hey, you did the work, but you're charging a little less for it. And once you're ready, all you would do again is click more actions on the top, select the second option, click that says approve, or you could click approve and apply trust if this is something we're drawing money out of their trust or IOTA account for. But as soon as I click approve, you'll notice that red colored draft watermark is gone. And for anyone in the audience that's already using tools like TrustBooks, Xero, or QuickBooks, we integrate with those tools. So imagine all this that's happening on the billing side is getting pushed into your accounting tools in real time. So you can keep running those reports like reconciliation, profit and loss, general ledgers, and staying true to our branding as well as the consistent experience. You'll notice in the from section it says my email. So we do this to ensure that all emails go out from your user email so nothing ends up in spam. These email templates are again just keeping us very standardized so that when the client receives this bill, they know exactly who it's coming from. It's consistent every time, and it helps your team stay on top of the processes as well.
Yeah, and I'll just second these points here that just, what we love about systems like this is just not only, um, all the data that it gives you, but that consistent experience. You're working typically, with us on your branding, your messaging, how you want everything to look. And then when you have a system like this, you can deliver that consistency throughout the whole relationship with your logo, the email templates, everything that goes out is just like it polished. It looks, it just, and all those little touch points just sort of remove doubts or points in the relationship where a client may be like, huh, do they like know what's going on there? It's all just, consistent, clean, professional, and has that nice polish to it.
Yeah, I very much agree with that, Brendan. And there's certain things I actually didn't go into too much detail on here. Like, for example, there are communication tools where you can log phone calls, you can save emails from Gmail or Outlook, save time in your emails if you're charging for email replies. There's text messaging, internal messaging boards so you and your team can stay connected together on a case, as well as a secure and encrypted client portal. So, I always tell anyone I speak with, I would love for you all to use Clio, but any tool you go with, you need to make sure that one, security is a big piece, and second, they're helping you provide a very good client experience. So with that, that was the Harbor tour I had planned for everyone here today.
Yeah. Hey, Jess, thank you so much for that. And I hope I could see in the polls that we have a number of people here who are already using a Clio product or some of their products. But there's so much depth and so many options into it. I hope that you picked up some usable, tips out of it, or maybe saw some things that you aren't taking advantage of yet that you can get some more out of. We have a couple of questions just lingering in the polls here that you can probably get to. One was going back to Clio Grow. Can you just go quickly show that report that showed the referrals?
Absolutely, yes, the referral reports. So basically, we're going to go into the reports tab, and this is kind of what it looks like.
Great.
Um, yeah. And again, this one is only tracking values, but there are sources and things like matter types we're tracking. And if you need to do more, you can even download this as a CSV or Excel file. But again, just giving you a good snapshot of who are your biggest champions. And a lot of your colleagues tell me on these calls when I show this report that, hey, oh, now I know, okay, I need to send John like a good bottle of
Yeah.
wine or take him out for dinner.
Exactly, exactly. And another one goes back to the document sort of management and say like a PI case where you've got all of the medical records. So one was, does the AI or your scanning capability, can it work with handwritten notes, as sometimes they often come from medical professionals?
It does, and it's actually personal because my parents are doctors, and then my dad, I know how he types, so how he writes sometimes. So the answer is it's a mixed answer right now where we can't give a full yes because it really depends on how clear the writing is on the paper. So if you're someone who types very perfectly with like an A, B, C, and it's like that, the OCR capabilities can pick it up. But just with my experience growing around doctors, sometimes they'll like write something very quickly. So for those ones, it's still a work in progress, and I'm sure in the future the AI might be able to consistently pick it up. But for now, if it's something that even you're having a little bit of a challenge to read, probably not something AI could transcribe with like 100% consistency. But if it's something that's written very legibly, yes, it can
Right.
OCR do that.
And the other part of that question was, let's say that you're starting a personal injury case and you've collected the documents, the medical records, and sort of all this base information. Um, can Was it the Clio work, or which one was the AI tool?
Clio work, yeah.
Clio work. So can it help start formulate like a strategy or a plan when it has those documents, or does it need how much does it need from the attorney to get going, if it has that information to start with?
It definitely needs the context from the attorney and the legal team. Like, for example, you could quickly upload the documents from the right case. Like, I have this car accident case. I could, pick up the case files, the demand letters, medical records. But after we select them, we would have to give it some sort of command. Like, one of the most common use cases that we see for PI firms is obviously analyzing depositions, building arguments, but I think the medical chronologies is a big one. So, just as recently as yesterday, I was talking to a firm where they have documents with like hundreds of pages where one paralegal was going in to transcribe them. But with AI now, we can transcribe those and give you the medical chronologies very quickly. So, short answer is you would still have to give it some sort of commands, but it'll do most of the heavy lifting once it knows what to do with those documents.
All right, great. Jazz, thank you and everybody who attended, thank you so much. That takes care of the questions that we had submitted in. So, as I said at the outset, we will provide a recording of this as well as a follow-up survey. This is new for us. We want these to be great and useful and helpful to all of you. And so your feedback is going to be helpful to us in making sure that we're, living up to that. But again, I hope that everybody got something out of this, whether it's just figuring out another way to use Clio and save you some time and effort, or if this is all new to you, getting being open to using some of these tools and moving into a system where it can better organize these many facets of running your practice. So, with it, Jazz, thank you, and thanks to everybody for attending.
Thank you so much for having us here. All the best, everyone.